What cheer, pig boys? This is What If, starring the Mighty Thor. This is issue 107, and it has a price tag on the cover. Some lucky bugger at one point paid £1.45 for this from Ace Comics. Not me. I paid somewhere between £3 and £3.50. I haven't removed the price tag because it reminds me of a simpler day when comics cost reasonable amounts of money. Let's start with the fold out recap page. We've not had one of these in at least a year, it feels. I love them. For a year and a half, Marvel had these really good recap pages. And when I say really good, I mean the content is good. The fold-out feature is silly and gimmicky. But if you could take the 2 pages of recap content here and translate them to standard pages of a comic, this would be ideal stuff. It covers everything you need to know to fully enjoy the story that follows. Marvel binned them because Tom Beevort was embarrassed by them. Anyway, I will start off with the bad, and that is we have Bill Son of a Bitch providing inks. I really didn't get it. In the mid-90s, Marvel thought the best use of Bill Son of a Bitch was to have him ink artists like Ron Frenz or one of the Buscema's on Spider-Man. Very professional, very clean artists. Inks by Bill Son of a Bitch just makes their pencils look messy and amateur. The idea behind this issue of What If is relatively amusing. Basically, it is asking, what if Thor's comic didn't get bad after Tom Falcon left? This is an alternative to the last 40 or so issues of Thor's series before it ended in 1996. Tom Falcon left Thor with issue 459, and I am not the biggest fan of Tom Falcon's run on Thor, but it is very, very obvious that the series went to absolute shit when he was gone from it. First we had Blood and Thunder, a ridiculously long one-story run where Thor goes insane and starts beating up all his friends because his imaginary girlfriend told him to. Actually painful. Then, following that, we got the return of Roger Thomas and Thor getting an ugly new costume and a terrible supporting cast of new generic godlings. There are a few ideas in that run that are exciting, and maybe a different writer or a different creative team could have done something better with. After that, we have Warren Fallis, who lasts a pitiful 4 issues, but in the process managed to do just enough PR for the series where he got to insult Jack Kirby's Thor for being repetitive. Only worthwhile thing in those issues is some quality Amanda the Enchanter romance. This story, written by Tom Falcon, picks up straight after his final issue. Rather than go insane, Thor stays in fairyland and becomes king and intends to marry his not imaginary girlfriend, Steve. If you are a Thor fan, this is an absolutely preferable substitute to at least Blood and Thunder. It is also worth noting that after Tom Falcon left Thor, he started a 90s Thor spin-off ongoing, which was usually, again, preferable to most of the main Thor title. The setup that Tom Falcon left on, which we see carried on in this story, is that Thor is the fairyland one, and 90s Thor is the Earth one. The two Thors have their own realm, kind of. However, evil lurks in the darkest corners of hell. Satan and Tom Hiddleston conspire to get even with Thor. Meanwhile, on Earth, with 90s Thor, Avengers assemble. Here is a pretty great Avengers roster. The Flash, Hank Gordon, 90s Thor, Iris West, Captain America, and Darth Knight. With this team, we get to see something that I have always wanted to see, which is the Avengers fighting Gok 1. I want an issue that is just this. And I want an issue where Gok 1's dialogue isn't on a dark green background, making it harder to read. But here, we didn't get to see the Avengers really fight Gok 1. We didn't get to see, like, Darth Knight fight him, or even Hercules, man. It was conspicuously absent from this team he should be there with. This is just a thing that happens in this story. The writing isn't actually great. There is some clunky as fuck shit with Steve's feelings for 90s Thor, but it is a metric ton better than the writing of Blood and Thunder. The best writing in this is actually between Tom Hiddleston and Satan. Not only have they set Gok 1 loose on Earth, but now they have got the Destroyer droids attacking Fairyland. This is what I kinda like about Thor comics. Gok 1 and Destroyer droids, they are like my two favourite Thor baddies. With What If, though, there usually is ideas like this, or sometimes even just exposition that you didn't get to see. There'll be stuff like the Avengers fighting Gok 1 that I want to see expanded on, and so I nearly always leave an issue of What If wanting more. Steve shows up on Earth with Legolas, Gimli and Aragorn to help the Avengers fight Gok 1. Get your protractors out, we have a love triangle. There is some overlap with themes from Stan Jurgensen's run on Thor, with Thor being Lord of Fairyland. But this came before that. It is just another issue of What If that seems to predict a storyline that will later be done in canon. Here is Thor. Say hello to Thor, everybody. Hello, Thor. Meanwhile, Thor's dad, Anthony Hopkins, travels to Satan's realm to kick Satan's big fat red horse. I will say, a lot of this only works from recognising these characters. The issue itself, or the story rather, because the recap page did it for you. Hey, that's another good reason to keep them, Tom. The story itself hasn't appropriately set either Gok 1 or Destroyer Droid up as the supreme threats they are. And even Satan and Anthony Hopkins, you could say the same. You need some base level knowledge of Thor and the power class we are seeing in this story. And when you do know that stuff, you just want to see these sequences expanded on. So Thor, now that he is the Lord of Fairyland, he uses the Anthony Hopkins Force, like he often does in Stan Jurgensen's run, and he uses it to destroy the Destroyer Droid. Pun not intended there, but it sounds like it was. Then Anthony Hopkins, having killed Satan off panel, now also kills his son, Tom Hiddleston. Very dark. I think Sir Anthony was getting carried away with his method acting for Hannibal Lecter. I think this is a fun issue, and more what-if stories should be based on the premise of fixing or replacing bad comics. If all of Kurt Busey's horrid retcon stories were issues of what if, I would just think they are shit. I wouldn't think that they opened the door to the destruction and devaluing of any and all continuity in comics. With this, it's not every day you have a comic where Anthony Hopkins murders Satan, so there is no doubt in my mind this is a 7 thumbs up.